I've always been one to shy away from, taking a leap just because I kind of get in my own way and with confidence and things. But baseball was this was the first thing in my life that I've ever been like, I can do that. Why am I not doing that? And it's because it's my passion. And so I think if you have a passion, if it's your passion and you know that then you are the expert.
Welcome back to Mic'd Up. I'm your host, Mike DiCioccio, and our guest today, very much like myself, is a lifelong Yankees fan whose love for baseball began at birth. Her story is really cool. Get a load of this. While attending a Yankees game at 6 years old, she received a broken bat from Buck Showalter right before that 90s dynasty for the Yankees took off. And at that moment, her love for the game really grew. She built her passion for the game into a career in sports media after a volunteer experience at the 2021 MLB All-Star Week. Since then, she has covered the Yankees and Phillies for On New Jersey Sports, and she founded Babes Media to amplify hers and other women's voices in baseball. And since she hails from Omaha, home of the greatest show on dirt, she gets to cover the College World Series with on-field interviews every single summer. Welcome to the show, the one and only Jonna Perlinger.
Thank you, Mike. What an introduction. That was awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I'm excited to have you. We've been planning on doing this for a while. That was my official intro. I'm going to give you a little extra special intro and we'll get started into your story. So here we go. Got to do my Bob Shepard impression. Here we go. Ready? Now betting. Number 99. Jonna Perlinger, number 99. I love it. I love it. So I got to ask you real quick. You're in Omaha, which is nowhere near New York City or the Bronx. I do see you always, rocking your Yankees gear everywhere you're at. You do an awesome job on your podcast and just on social media in general. Like I get my Yankees updates from you, Jonna. I'm watching, yes, but then after the game, I'm getting updates and checking, Aaron Judge's stats and chasing history, and I'm hearing it from you. So I just got to ask, how many on a regular basis in a season, how many Yankees games do you typically get to?
About 10.
Okay.
This year I'm only at 6, but we still have time with the postseason. So we'll see how many more I can squeeze in. Not nearly as many as I would like to. If I lived there, I would obviously never leave the ballpark.
You'd live there. You'd be serving.
You know what?
Popcorn and beer and peanuts.
Underrated watching on TV because you get so much knowledge from listening to the broadcast. You get all this background knowledge and history and stories, straight from Michael Kay, Paul O'Neill, David Cone. So I think having that aspect paired with being able to see everything up close, probably for me is preferable at this point.
Yeah, great point. We are spoiled as Yankees fans. We get Paul O'Neill, David Cone, some of the Yankees greats, obviously, and they always bring someone in the booth, which is always fun when they do that, but great commentary. Michael Kay, he's just a staple to, every Yankees home run over the last 30 years in my head has Michael Kay announcing it. And a lot of walk-off wins like we had just the other night, Tuesday night to clinch, which is super exciting. So 6 games and counting. Maybe I can see you there for a postseason game. I mean, I'm planning on getting there. I currently live in Philly, which is funny. We kind of have a little bit of a Philly connection, which I'd like to talk to you about as well. So that's really cool. And let's go back before we get into your story. I want everyone to know I have your website. I got the Babes podcast, your YouTube channel, everything linked, your social media and Instagram, the Babes Instagram. It's all linked in the show notes. So anybody who's tuning in, Jonna, she's here to stay. She's a Yankees, she covers the Yankees and many other things. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, check out her social media. I got it right there for you, clickable. So let's do this. Let's start at the beginning, Jonna. Go back to that little 6-year-old girl, right, at the Yankees game. And who do we give props to? Who brought you to your first Yankees game? Was that dad? Was it grandpa? Who was it?
Oh, it was dad and mom.
Okay.
But I think like I have to go back a little bit further even because when I was in the womb, I went to my very first game. And then when I was 6 months old, I went to my first like out of womb game.
Wow.
Um, back at Kauffman Stadium, which still stands today, there in Kansas City. So I think like, I was just always in my blood sort of, from the get go. But yeah, I mean, my first memory obviously was that 95 season when they were just coming off the strike and Coors Field was opening up for the very first time. I grew up 3 hours from Coors Field. So the Rockies were our closest team, but
Yeah.
obviously had no team history at that point. I mean, they were only a couple of years old as a
Sure.
franchise. So 95, breaking ground, Coors Field. The players were still like in the midst of this strike. And so they played with replacement players and they brought players and they played this exhibition game at Coors Field. So this was like a couple of weeks before the actual season started. I think it was the very end of March. So it was a cold one. But yeah, I remember like my parents taking us and my siblings and me. My brother was at that time like 12, I think. So I was 6. So this little boy was probably so pissed off that his little sister was walking away with a bat from Buck Showalter and a ball. I got a ball that day too. So yeah, it was crazy. But from then on, I would take that little bat with me to not a little bat. It was a heavy bat. And actually it's like it was broken during batting practice. So it comes apart and you can.
He gave you both pieces of it so you can kind of have it together. That's really cool.
And it's like these spikes and they fit.
Do you happen to know whose bat it was by chance or?
Yes, it was Spike Owen.
Interesting.
Who
Okay.
was actually an integral part of that 95 team against, he played in that ALDS against the Mariners.
Okay.
So pretty cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Teammate of Donnie Baseball. So anyway, fast forward, I would take that thing with me like to show and tell. I probably took it like every other time we had show and tell. And
here comes Jonna with the bat again, right?
Yeah, here she comes with her bat again, which is funny because I don't know if they let you into school with a baseball bat now, right?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, that says a lot about where we've come. But we're going to show some pictures for this too, for this interview. So I'm going to, make sure you send me some pictures of you with the bat. And we'll get it up on the screen here for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that jersey, by the way? I got to ask you, the jersey that's hanging on the wall right there. Is that the jersey you were wearing from back then?
No.
I feel like I've seen you in that before. No,
I should hang that jersey. This jersey is actually like it's ginormous on me. So I just hang it on the wall. My dad has an identical one that he would wear when I was growing up. And I just always thought it was so cool. So I found one on eBay and ordered myself one. And it's funny because my family's always like, did you steal that from dad? Because he's always accusing us of stealing his old Yanks gear. Of course we do, because it's all the 90s, like crew neck sweatshirts and things. But yeah, no, that one's mine.
It's funny that a lot of the 90s stuff, like the starters jackets and stuff, are cool again,
Right.
And it's like, I got a couple things I can probably dust off, and that's sitting in the closet. I'm a big Bills fan as well. I don't know if you've seen some of the other episodes of the show where I'm rocking my Bills gear, but I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and just recently moved to Philly. And my team's been the Yankees and Bills since I was born too. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny too. Like if you actually grew up in the 90s and you can raid your dad's closet, works out pretty well.
I'll share this real quick. The interview's all about you, but I'll just give you a little perspective of how I grew up as well. Maybe a little appreciation for my Yankees fandom. So my dad, he collected baseball cards, Topps cards, only Topps. And he also would go to different trade shows and get signed baseball. So he had like Mickey Mantle, we had Jeter. He had a ball with the 61 Yanks on it. I don't know if it was everybody, but it was quite a considerable amount of signatures on it. He had like, the classic hanging pictures of his favorite Yankees, and they were signed and they were all like authentic. He took us to Cooperstown when we were really little, which I wish I was a little bit older because I remember it, but very vaguely. And most importantly, we just have so many great memories of watching the Yankees games where, yeah, I just could feel it. The presence when my father passed away in 2020, unfortunately, with COVID, and it's a horrible situation,
So
which
sorry.
I don't know that thank you. I don't know that I've really stomached it yet. And I've talked about it a little bit on the show. I got to figure out a way to come to better grips with it. But I watch the Yankees games now because I'm a fan, but also because I know every day that he was home, he had it on. And when I go to my mom's and it's on in the background, the sound of Michael Kay and just the background of Yankee Stadium on Yes Network is it's just like white noise in our house growing up.
Yeah.
It's a comforting thing. So I watch him as a fan, but I also put it on now because I feel connected to my dad that way.
Absolutely.
And even when I'm working, I have the luxury of working from home, so I can put the game on. I can have it quiet. I can work, but yeah, I love to follow it. And I probably watched at least 100 games this season. I feel like I slacked a little bit recently, but I'm obviously closely following the postseason. So that's a little bit of how I grew up with my dad. He couple things I'll say is he had Mickey Mantle's rookie card because back in the 50s, he was born in 51. So back in like the 60s, he's between 8 and 10 years old when Mickey was like huge. That was his idol. That was his favorite player. He had Mickey Mantle's rookie card in a shoebox. And when they moved from one house to another in Buffalo, my grandfather just was rummaging through everything what they can get rid of and not bring to the new house. And it's like a box of cards at that time didn't have any value. He threw it out. Threw out Mickey Mantle's rookie card. So my dad got the replica card back later on, but he never had the original. The original's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars mint, and it was obviously it was mint. So that always stung. But something I'll say is in 1990. So you talked about your experience in 95. My experience was 1994. My dad took me to my first and only Yankees game at Yankee Stadium. I was 8 years old. We got nice seats behind home plate, but we were quite a ways up. And it was the only time at that point in my life that I saw my dad get emotional because he's a tough, like he worked at the Ford plant, kind of old school, tough Italian guy. We're up watching the game and it was Old Timers Day. And they called out, it was Bob Shepard's voice announced Mickey Mantle. And Bob Shepard then was alive. And Mickey kind of stumbled out of the dugout because his knees were really bad. And I remember it was like 100 degrees and the game program was in my hand. It was literally melting. My hand was turning like orange and green.
Oh my gosh.
And I looked over at my dad, and when Mickey stumbles out of the dugout, he had tears in his eyes. So that's how much of a fan my dad was. So
yeah,
rest in peace, Dad. Yanks are coming for number 28 this year, and we're going to do it for you and so many others that are great Yankee fans. So back to your story, the broken bat. Before that day, though, did your mom and dad take you as Yankees fans, or were you just going to a ball game and then fell in love with you fell in love with the Yankees, or they already loved them?
So we were diehard Yankee fans from birth. My dad was, growing up a little bit right after Mantle and Maris Chase, but old enough to understand like what had just taken place in history, right? So he grew up more in the 60s, but right after that. And so he talked about how he would always check out, the sports books in school. And so, one that really stuck with him was one on the Mantle and Maris Chase. And then he became a Yankee fan, solidified when he was like 8 years old or so. He had
Reggie then, probably more so, right?
Yeah. He had Reggie. And then later on, when he was in high school, he had Thurman. And so Thurman was his favorite. He always loved Yogi as well, but yeah,
who doesn't?
He talks about, I know it. I know.
He's like everybody's grandpa, we all adopted him as our Yankee grandpa.
Collective grandfather. But yeah, he talks about so in high school, he landed, I don't even know how, because if you knew my dad, he's like very reserved, very conservative, very shy. But somehow he landed the main character in the school play, and they were doing their like big production night, and the Yankees were playing in the postseason. So he bailed on the main event to watch the Yankees in the postseason.
Oh my gosh.
1977. And so it's ingrained in me, and it was always ingrained in my dad too. But
That's incredible. So they didn't have like the main actor and the lead play or whatever. And like,
exactly.
and he's like, the Yankees game's on, they're in the World Series. Sorry. You know, that's why they have a double or stand in or whatever, right?
That's exactly right. Stand in. So deal with it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Quick similar story. So my brother, in high school, his most random thing, you know how they give awards out at the end of like your senior year and everything. So he won the award for perfect attendance and was not there to receive the award for perfect attendance. It was because my grandpa passed and we were in Arizona visiting him in 2001, which ended up being the year that the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees. And
yes,
so
that one stings still.
It stings, but what's crazy about it is like, so the Yanks won 4 right before that, as you know, 96, 98, 99, 2000. And then in 01, when we lost that one, it was a weird feeling sitting on the couch watching it with my dad because my grandpa loved the Yankees too, who I just talked about passed away. And that's why my brother couldn't be there for the perfect attendance. But he would jokingly, because my grandpa lived in Phoenix for a few years after he retired from Buffalo, I went there. And he would kind of jokingly root for them over the Yankees, like just playfully with my dad. But then the fact is they were in the World Series. And so when they won, my dad kind of kept more quiet and silent during that because he's like, well, my dad's team, you know, adopted team won. So that was an interesting one. That was the bloop hit. I forget who hit it, but off of Mariano. Nobody gets that hit. Was it Louis Gonzalez?
It was, yes, it was. Was that his last name? Gonzalez?
Louis. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. But we both know the moment. All right. What about Cooperstown? Have you been to Cooperstown?
I have not been to Cooperstown, which is very upsetting. It's on my bucket list, obviously.
Well, I have a pretty good feeling that Judge is on his way to Cooperstown. So maybe that can be your first and my second. I didn't go for Jeter and I didn't go for Mariano. I'm kind of kicking myself, but I would have loved to be there for both of those two.
It would be really fitting because I was at Aaron Judge's first, his major league debut. So
that's awesome. What a moment.
Only go to like 10-ish games a year, if that. Back then I was only going to a few games a year. And
it's not like you went there for that purpose, right? You just happened to be there. Nobody really knew. We knew of Judge, but we didn't know what he was about to become.
So it actually ended up being the same weekend that they they retired Mariano's jersey, or his number. So
cool.
That was the same weekend. So it just fell, just magically for me.
What's funny about Yankees is we have so many guys retire their numbers because there's so many greats in the organization. 42's gone. You got the top 10 numbers, 1 through 10 are gone. You got guys like Judge. I think jokingly, he's just like, I guess I'll take 99. We'll start backwards. And like he became a popular player wearing 99, which when you and I grew up, that was unheard of. Nobody really had higher than like 50. So very cool. You got to be there for that. Yeah. He had a remarkable rookie season, right? Then he hit like 52 home runs his rookie year, I think.
Yeah. That was one of his, that was his first season, hitting over 50 home runs.
Which he's now done 4 times. Only other Yankee to do that is Babe Ruth.
Did he also win the home run derby that year, I believe?
I'm not sure on that because I don't really watch the derby. Especially, I'm not a huge fan of it, knowing that guys like throw off their swing, and I don't like when our players are in it. But I'm not 100%. I think he did win. He did win it before, right?
Yes.
I think that was the year then because. I know now he doesn't participate. So I think he did it once. He won it and he was like, okay, I got that. I'm good. Like I got that plaque. I can move on. Let's get back to you though. So All-Star Week 2021, MLB All-Star Week. What was that whole experience like? And how did that really open the door to what you're doing today?
Yeah, well, so, as you mentioned, you had a lot of memories sitting and watching the Yankees with your dad. Same thing with me. Had very special memories of, watching Yanks postseason through the 90s with my family. And so always held on to that, have always been really invested in them. So I was living in Denver and not just the Yankees. I want to preface that because I've always just loved the game of baseball in general. And I think like that's one of the reasons why, because it's so nostalgic. It's so meaningful. It's so it's how a lot of us have bonded with our families over the years, our dads, our grandpas, our, whoever.
Yeah.
And so
There's something, Jonna, about when you go to a ballpark. I don't care if it's smaller park, a minor league park, high school game, especially an MLB game. When you first are walking through the concourse and your eyes connect with that green grass and you can just feel it, you can smell it. You're in that stadium, that feel. It's like my favorite place in the world to be. It's just like
it really is
locking eyes with that baseball diamond.
Yeah, the sounds, the sights, smells.
So many kids grew up and it's like that's the thing they wanted to become. The first thing they wanted to do is play MLB baseball. Like in the backyard, we're all hitting home runs with our wiffle ball bats and dreaming of being the next Babe Ruth. Yeah, that's such a special thing. But right back at you. So you have those moments.
Yeah, I had all that leading up to this time. And so I was living in Denver at the time. And the All-Star game got moved last minute from Atlanta to Denver that year. And so I got an email from the Denver Sports Commission and they were looking for volunteers. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. I'm made for this. This is perfect. So I just decided to jump on it. And I went, and I think there were 700-ish volunteers. Of the 700 volunteers, 30 of us got chosen to do the MLB draft. And that was the first year that they tied the draft into All-Star Week, because they used to do it later in the year, I think. Mm-hmm. So they did it the same. They've started obviously doing it, the same week. And that was really, really cool to be part of. Nick Swisher was there on behalf of the Yankees. So I got to meet him. And my job was just to dress as a fan. And every time, Rob Manfred would come out, we would boo him. And every time a guy would get drafted, we would cheer. That was our job. So we just got to go enjoy ourselves, and it was magical. I got to meet
Nick Swisher's a great personality too. What a fun guy.
Oh yeah, he's exactly who you would picture him to be. He's
right. He seems so authentic. Yeah, off the field.
Yeah, and so Henry Davis was the first pick that year. He's with the Pirates now. And so that was cool. Let's see. Trey Sweeney is who the Yankees drafted. And so I got to meet him and congratulate him and take a selfie and all that. That was really cool. Mm-hmm. So then walking away from that week and seeing, Lauren Gardner up on stage doing the introductions and just doing kind of the announcement side of things for MLB, I was like, whoa, like I could do that. Why am I not doing that? I've always been obsessed with baseball, but I never really thought that I don't know. I guess you just never really stop and think that I could do that, mm-hmm. Until you see it in action. And then I'm like, okay, women are doing this role. Like, obviously I've seen Meredith Marakovitz and Susan over the years. But yeah, seeing more and more women and it's starting to pick up, right? I thought I could do that. Why am I not doing that? Like, I'm not just a sports nut. Baseball is my life.
Right. It inside and out.
Yeah. I walked away with that just with so much like fire in my heart. Like, I need to go after a career in baseball. And I can start small. I can start wherever I want, and so that's when I decided I started mulling on over the next year, doing a podcast, mm-hmm. With the goal of it being, let's bring more women into this. Like, I want to see more women doing this. So that was the goal. And
you really have become a pioneer. Like Babes. First of all, clever name, super creative. I love it. Like, it's eye catching, but it makes sense immediately, which is a really good brand. Like when people understand it right away. But yeah, I know that you have a co-host or two and you've also interviewed people. So share a little bit more about that idea, how obviously you shared how you were inspired and, that was kind of the trajectory of where you're going, but a little bit more about like the concept of Babes and what you're looking to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think like that little switch in my mind where I was seeing more women in the sport, I was like, well, why am I not doing this? Like I should be doing this. And so I think like, so right after that, I started my Twitter account and I started live tweeting during games, and my account really took off more than I ever would have expected.
Yeah.
And so that following has grown a lot over there, and the interactions during games have been just such a highlight of my fandom. It's been really rewarding. But that's where I kind of started seeing, like, I don't see it so much anymore, but when I first got into that whole world, I was seeing a lot of like, well, you're a woman, like your takes don't matter. Why are you even tweeting about the, baseball or sports or whatever? It was a lot of that at first. And so I just like, this is like, I need to create a safe space for women to come together. There are so many other women out there like me who grew up the same way I did, loving baseball, loving their, bonding with their dad over it. And so I was like, I just need to create a safe space that women can come together, talk baseball, and not be judged for our takes and our opinions. And so that,
and you've
that
done
was
it. You've done the thing. It's not an idea. It's not a concept. You're doing it. You've built it. And I'm excited to see where it goes, because it seems to me like in any great story, there's different stepping stones. There was the moment of the All-Star Week. There's the moment of launching your podcast, having many great episodes. Now you're following the team. You're doing a lot of great coverage. Like I said, I do watch your videos to get like your perspective on what's going on. Like you just did your video the other day about how the Yankees clinched, and Judge's 50 and 51st home run just the other night. So what I'd like to do is let's just talk about what I think a lot of people, and even Aaron Boone admitted, takes for granted sometimes. The fact that we're watching a historical player play the game. Babes for Babe Ruth. We are watching literally like the modern day Babe Ruth, right? MVP
Absolutely.
last year. He follows it up with like an incredible batting average, RBIs. He's hitting. He's bringing people home. But he's also, not only the leader of the team. 50 home runs again, fourth time. The only players to do that are Babe Ruth, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Aaron Judge. We know that Sosa corked bats. We know that McGwire juiced. I think Babe Ruth was drinking beer and having a hot dog in the dugout. I don't think he was doing anything to help performance. We got Aaron Judge, right?
I mean, think about this for a second. Barry Bonds didn't do that.
Right.
And
Bonds didn't even hit 54 times. Yeah. And he was juicing. Right.
He didn't do that.
Right. A-Rod didn't do it. There's a lot of great hitters. Pujols. Like you would think that it happened more than 4 times, but that's an incredible thing. And when I watch the games, my ears perk up when number 99 comes to the plate. There's certain like Cody Bellinger's having a great year. Stanton started strong. He needs to get his mojo back. He usually does in the postseason.
Yeah.
I'll watch, like when Fried or Rodon are going deep in innings, I'll keep an eye. I love Weaver. You and I think both agree that Weaver should be the closer. Although, things have been looking up recently. When they took Weaver and put him in the 7th and 8th originally, it didn't make any sense because he performed well in the World Series. So, but yeah, I just want to take a minute to give some love to Aaron Judge and kind of hear your perspective of what it feels like for you following the game of baseball and covering it, doing your videos and stuff. Like, how special is it to watch a player of his caliber?
I mean, oh my gosh, the year he hit 62, I had just been asked by On New Jersey, which then we were Jersey Sporting News, but same crew, same staff. I was asked that year, like in July, they reached out to me and they were like, we love your takes on Twitter. They're great. Would you like to start writing for us? And would you be our lead Yankees writer? And I was like, me? What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not a writer. I didn't go to school for this. So that was crazy. But I just remember like Aaron Judge's race being the first thing that I covered and sitting there and just thinking like, this is my life. I get to do
this.
How is this my life? I'm reporting on, this is insane. Yeah, he's been phenomenal. It is like the greatest honor of my life to cover him and follow him. And, I've been saying my grandpa grew up right outside of Chicago and he grew up in an orphanage. So, not a great little life for him, but he would every once in a while, they would take some of the orphans into Wrigley Field. And so he got to see Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig play. And I just sit here sometimes and I'm like, he passed away when I was 19. So obviously at that time, you take for granted, your time with grandparents and stuff. And
you wish you could go back now and like almost interview him more, right?
Yes,
or pick his brain more.
And he loved baseball. He, I don't want to take us on a tangent here, but he did coach Little League in Japan, and his career in the Air Force took him around the world. And so
That's
I
awesome.
would love to just ask him about all of that and what was it like to sit and watch Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. But I can't help but think he would also ask me, what is it like to watch Aaron Judge?
That's great perspective. And back then, not a cell phone, obviously, in the building. Even when we grew up, again, not to age us here or anything, but like, the great games of those 90s World Series, nobody had a smartphone recording every second of it. So I try to make sure I capture moments when I go to a game, but also remember to like really enjoy that moment and
Be
experience.
Present. Absolutely.
Really, really cool stuff there. One more thing about my dad is he was a stickler with a lot of stuff. Like, we didn't have a pet growing up other than some birds that were in a bird cage, but like he didn't want to have a cat or dog because it would ruin the furniture, or if our friends came over, like make sure everything was like, if they scratched the kitchen table, it would have been like the end of the world kind of thing. And when the Yankees won the 96 World Series, he had a bottle of champagne prepared, and he grabs it out of the fridge, and I don't know how he must have accidentally shook it a little bit, but when he popped off the cork, it went flying and hit the ceiling and all this stuff, and he's spilling all over the place. And I know if that had been myself or my brother, we would have been in big trouble. But like T didn't even care because the Yankees just won. And in '96, there was the drought, right? When was the last time? I don't know the year that they did. It was in the 70s, right?
78. Yeah.
78 was the last one. So that's a pretty big, 20-year-ish gap, 18 years. My math is good. Year gap. So yeah, he was super jazzed about it. And another cool thing is when he was 10, he experienced the 61 team. And when I was 10, I experienced the 96 team. So it's kind of a similar, like those are two of the best teams of all time, 96 and 61. So pretty cool. Like we have some parallels in that to experience.
Definitely.
One of my favorite baseball moments is the Field of Dreams, watching what they've done now for that game. I hate the advertisements. They got to get rid of the advertisements around it and just make it one day where, I'm sorry, advertiser, you're not allowed to advertise one day. You can get your commercial breaks, take it off of the walls and stuff, but you're so close. You're in Omaha. Iowa's a state away. Have you been to the Field of Dreams? And if so, what's that like?
I've not been to Dyersville, but it's on the bucket list. I just don't go that direction much. Like even when you go to Chicago, it's a little bit off the beaten path.
Yeah.
But
how long would it be for you to drive to that game? Because the Yankees were in it first. Okay.
I think about 5 hours.
Not too bad.
So 2 summers ago, I road tripped with my mom up to Rockford to see where the Rockford Peaches played. Okay. And there was the U.S. women's team was playing in like this exhibition game up there. So we went up there and we met, like Mabel Blair, who was, an original in the AAG PBL. Yeah. So got to meet her. But anyway, so we were kind of on that route, but we ended up kind of taking a different route on our way back. We thought about stopping, but we just kind of ran out of time. So
next, do you know when the Yankees are in it next? Do they have that?
So they will. Oh, in the Field of Dreams game?
Yeah, they were in it versus the White Sox, which was a horrible ending. If you remember, like 2 years ago, I forget, was it Anderson who had like a walk-off home run?
Crushed.
It was a good game, and then I think they they walked it off, right?
Yeah, Tim Anderson. By the way,
Tim Anderson? Yeah,
like not anywhere to be found right now. So I
Really?
think he's in the A's system, maybe. But
Really?
yeah,
He kind of fell off.
he tanked.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. We're kind of going all over the place because there's so many different directions I want to take this conversation. I know for the sake of time we're limited. I'd love to have you on again, by the way, and we can obviously keep the conversation going offline too. Field of Dreams, that would be really cool. I'm going to ask you a favor. If you hear anything or know that the Yankees are going, let me know, because that is on my bucket list as well. So I definitely would love to get there.
I will say, I do know they are bringing it back to the Field of Dreams next year. They didn't play this last year. They didn't play there. This
it would
year,
be cool if they did it like maybe once every 5 years to keep that like whole allure, like the special feeling. I think if you do overdo anything, you kind of bastardize it. So I hope that they do take some breath in between. So next year it'll be back.
And I think they're kind of rotating teams, obviously.
We'll
see.
It's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. Although, the Yankees got to get in there and get some classic teams in there.
I don't know that anything will ever top that first one. Was
that the first one that I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The Tim Anderson?
Yes.
Yeah. And the way that they have like the players coming onto the field, and they had Kevin Costner basically announce the game, not the game, but the intro of the game and do a speech. It was a really special moment. I was getting teared up watching it. And I think it was after my dad had passed away too. So that was a whole nother thing. And yeah, it was waterworks. Babes. One of the reasons I wanted you to be on the show is we talk with a lot of entrepreneurs. We talk with a lot of like authors and people aspiring to help other people rise up to get to where they're at. Now you've done this and you're still growing yourself. What advice would you give to women who are aspiring to get into sports media? Like if you can almost talk to yourself from 5 years ago, what would be some pointers you would give?
I would tell myself, because I've always been one to shy away from, taking a leap just because I kind of get in my own way and with confidence and things. But baseball was this was the first thing in my life that I've ever been like, I can do that. Why am I not doing that? And it's because it's my passion. And so I think if you have a passion, if it's your passion and you know that then you are the expert. So that's what I would say to young women, anybody pursuing a passion. Mic
drop moment right there. I like to call it a mic drop moment when someone drops some gold like that. But yeah, if you're passionate about it, you love it, why not you? Right?
Why not you?
Jonna looked in the mirror and said, why not me? I can do this. I love it. I'll do a great job. I'm not just going to do it for a paycheck. You would have done it for free. Now you're at the point where you deserve to be paid for it because you're great at it. But also like, yeah, it's like anybody. Like Michael Kay gets a paycheck, but I know you can tell he loves doing it. I mean, he's been doing it forever now. So who knows? I'm sure he's a little more jaded than if you ask him 25 years ago. But the point is, you do something you're passionate about at a high level, you do belong. There is an imposter syndrome. I think at some point we all have it. People battle it. I talk to really highly successful people, both monetarily and, just living their dream out, and they struggle, whether it's a musician who's on tour and they got like a platinum record and they're like, how did I get, like, I don't belong here. Like I'm the person writing a song for 3 people. 2 of them are half drunk and don't even know what's going on. And like, that's how I started. How did I get here playing arenas? So yeah, absolutely. But I love what you said. Take the leap, get started. I got you for a couple more minutes, so I got to ask you the Phillies connection. You cover the Yanks, also the Phillies. Like I said, I just recently moved to the Philadelphia area. What's the scoop there? How did that come about? And where can we see like your actual writing? I know Babes is the podcast, but like where can we see your articles?
Yeah. Okay. So because I guess I would say one of the most rewarding things of starting the Babes was that I took a different lens to baseball. I was always so laser focused on what was happening with the Yankees that I didn't take the time to like understand the whole league, to watch, to pay attention to everybody, which I do now. And so that's been really fun because it's just given me a whole new perspective and understanding of like how different organizations work, especially those smaller market teams, and how they have to, get creative and crafty. And so anyway, it's just given me a whole new respect for other organizations. And And because we're in the New Jersey area, we serve Philly, obviously the New York teams.
Yeah.
And we don't have Phillies writer. And so I was like, I'll write some articles on the Phillies because I'm watching anyway.
And they're a good team too. They got a lot of great personalities,
gosh.
And what a fun team.
They are such a fun team, top to bottom.
I just hope they don't make it to if the Yankees make it back, which I have a strong sense that they can. They got the core to do it. If it's against the Phillies, I just, living here is going to be tough. And it's the same thing with the Bills. Like the Bills have gotten so close now. They're like always one game away or like a couple plays away from making the Super Bowl. And last year, had they beat Kansas City, they were 3 minutes away from being in the Super Bowl versus the Eagles. And here I am decked out every day in Bills gear as I'm going to a restaurant. And I don't get any crap about it, really. I get some more eyeballs with the Yankees gear on than I do Bills. But you better believe if the Bills and the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, I might have to watch the game in hibernation or something because Phillies fans are no joke. So
it might be a rematch of 2009. I could seriously see it. So
yeah,
they've been solid.
And that was the year that the last time the Yankees won.
Yep.
And there was your you mentioned Nick Swisher.
Yeah.
A lot of memorable moments of him going crazy in the dugout. And
oh my gosh. And, at the World Series parade, I think he was going crazy.
Oh, yeah. So. He enjoyed every second of that, which is great. We just did 45, 50 minutes on the Yankees, and we didn't talk about, I mentioned his name once, I think, Derek Jeter. Give me a minute on your love and passion for getting to watch him growing up. What a special dude.
Oh my gosh, incredible. And if you haven't seen The Captain, you have to.
Yeah. He was my favorite player growing up. He was like an idol because he was great off the field. He was so clutch.
Yeah, I mean, it's understanding like who he is as a person when you get to like get a deeper look at him in that documentary. Mm-hmm. That's like, we always knew that about him as Yankee fans. But if you're not a Yankee fan and you don't really understand, I mean, he is a Michael Jordan. They are one in their own. Their mentality is like win or nothing.
So he grew up with that laser focus. I'm going to be the shortstop. I actually have his book, and that was just it. He knew it. Like Tom Brady's the same way. He just knew, and he's going to do everything to get there. And even if you're drafted, Jeter was drafted, I think, in the first round, right, by the Yankees. But Tom Brady, 199 overall. You know the story. But you're right. Like he lives it, that mentality of that championship mentality. And we need some more of that on the team. I'm not saying Judge doesn't have that edge, but like I just feel like we need a little bit of Jeter emphasis. And Joe Torre was a special manager. I'll always love when we had Joe Torre. Nothing tops that. And I'm hit or miss on Boone. I don't love Boone, but I think if they don't get it done this year, I honestly would be okay with a fresh start. Bring in Andy Pettitte or Jorge Posada or something. But Jeter was just so special, and I totally stomped on your response there. So
but yeah, I mean, you want to talk about adversity. He faced more than anybody in that first year as a rookie, and well, not even his rookie season, but in the minors, when he was in the minor system, like he had it rough. He was not panning out.
Right. He was a high prospect, and then all of a sudden had a lot of like, we don't know if this kid has it. Speaking of that, I don't think a lot of people know, maybe like real diehard Yankee fans will know, but when he got signed by the Yankees or drafted and he was like in spring training, he was not looking good. And another player that they considered getting rid of was Mariano Rivera. Like Rivera was a middle relief guy that wasn't really cutting it. And I forget the exact story, but something ties in with both Mo and Jeter. Was it Torre that just said he greenlighted them? Do you know the exact story on that?
I can't remember if it was Torre. I'm not sure.
Buck Showalter was the manager. Did Buck Showalter manage Jeter first? Because Jeter's first season was 95, right?
Yeah.
His rookie year.
Both the Yankees during the ALDS.
So it might have been Buck that I think someone just said we're going to give him a chance. It might have been Buck. And obviously made the greatest decision of all time with both of those players.
Yeah.
But it also goes to show you, like, if you're in a place in your life right now, let's end on this thought, where the whole world might be saying you don't have it, but you still know in your heart, like Mariano and Derek Jeter did, they had it, and they just needed the opportunity to make it happen. And a lot of times in life, the opportunity doesn't just show up. You got to knock the door down like Jonna did and create her own channel. And now she's got opportunities to cover other teams and the Yankees. Like, make your own path if it's not there yet. And I think that's a great message as well. I do have to do one thing real quick before I let you run. We're going to pay the bills and give some love to our sponsor, Social Chameleon. That is my podcast agency. Check us out at socialchameleon.us. You press record, we handle the rest. It is podcasting done for you. We are recording this on Riverside. It's riverside.fm, and they are an affiliate of ours for high quality audio and video for podcasting or any of your virtual video needs. Check out Riverside. And then lastly, the way that we get the audio for this episode, everywhere that you tune in on your audio podcast, Apple, Spotify, you get the idea. That is done through libsyn.com. It's libsyn.com. I know you have to run, Jonna. I love this conversation. Is there any last words you want to get before you jump?
Go Yanks.
Go Yanks. We're right here as we record this. There's like 3 games left or so, 4 games left.
4 games.
The East is still for the taking. I believe we will do it. We're 1 game back as we record.
We are tied. We just need to surge ahead.
Yeah, we're tied. We need to win 2 and have them, or let's just win out. Let's just win out and have them lose at least 2 games, and we'll call it a day. But as this episode comes out, the wild card is going to be starting tomorrow. So if you guys are listening to this on Monday, when it releases, tomorrow is the postseason. So it's here, and nothing is better than Yankees baseball in October. So, Jonna, thank you so much. I leave every episode with this: be great and be grateful. And I'm grateful for you being here. And now with everything going on in the world, I'm adding one more to that: be kind. Just be kind. Everyone who's tuning in, just remember, if it's someone in the grocery line or whatever you're doing today, if you can just be kind to one person today, that's my ask for you. And Jonna, you just said it best. Go Yanks. Thank you so much for being on.
Keep on moving on.